speaker must be Dr. Shahid Yamin. Dr. Shahid Yamin is executive chairman and co-founder of Global Opportunities Commercialization, GOC. He has developed the concept of Smart Institute for developing appropriate technology-based entrepreneurs in poorer regions of the world. GOC executive team strongly believe that social and economic empowerment are the drivers of peace in the world. Self-help raises the self-esteem of individuals who then become a creative asset for the community. It gives people a purpose of help them to live and grow. Dr. Yamin is also an ambassador for peace with UPF and the coordinator of the International Association for Peace and Economic Development, Victoria. It is our pleasure to invite Dr. Shahid Yamin to speak to us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ito, Reverend Ito, for this kind introduction. I would also like to thank Yutaka Yamada, Chairman of Oceana, distinguished guest, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The title of my speech is Independence and Interdependence of Business, Society, and Our Interdependent World. Now, what exactly I mean in that title? There is interdependence and there is independence. They both go hand in hand together. Independence is a need for this world in terms of creating entrepreneurship. Independence is a need for this world to create new ways of using technology to serve human beings. And it means we train our people in terms of developing self-belief, self-worth, which is based on independence. Yet interdependence also has a very big role to play. In a society, interdependence is what creates synergy in efforts. Interdependence is what creates interaction between different types of people, and so on and so forth. My take on this topic is this: that we live in a world which is interdependent by default. By default, in terms of being increase in communication and transport, technological advancement in these areas have created an interdependent world. Globalization is predominant in every part of the world, which by virtue actually talks about interdependent world. What is actually missing is the sense of humanity. What is missing is people working in terms of interdependence and independence with a view of humanity. Because in reality, if we look around, and it has been said by the previous speaker that sometimes corporations lose sight of their damage to the humanity. It's not only the children, it is the whole humanity that is affected out of it. So it is not only women being exploited, it is humanity being exploited. Because we first came into this world as human beings. Gender was only part of our makeup. And we have to look at human beings. We have to make commercial decisions on basis of how it is going to have impact on human beings. Facebook is wonderful platform to connect from one person to other, to share your personal achievements, to share your thoughts, etc., etc. Yet Facebook inventors never thought about humanity, because now your personal freedom is at risk. Now you have cyber security, cyber bullying rather, which occurs, and lot of young people actually do suicides. I call this as social, economic, political feudalism, because that overpowers the need to make profit against need to serve humanity. Because serving humanity has to be the principal goal. Creating humanity, developing humanity has to be the principal goal. It is not profit only that makes the world goes around. It is the humanity that makes the world go around. And the more coordinated effort is made to bring humanity together, the better the world will be, and peace will automatically come. Just imagine, we created, I mean, drone is very, very good for taking photographs, for enjoyment, flying, and so on and so forth. Yet drone is now used as an armament, which actually goes and actually in conflict areas and throw bombs on without realization of the innocent people around. If there was a human being driving a plane, at least that human being may have the empathy that I should throw the bomb in a particular place where there is less human damage. But drone doesn't understand that. Drone goes and do that. Thousands and millions of people have become homeless. Thousands and millions of people have been dislocated. Thousands of children have become orphan. A new form of crime has started in terms of smuggling people for illegal means. And it is not about illegal in terms of entering the country, it's about illegal in terms of using human beings as slaves. We thought that we have abolished slavery, but a new form of slavery still exists in this world. And it is not the question of tolerance about different types of people in this world. It is the question of acceptance of different types of people in the world. People who are Christians, people who are Muslims, people who are Buddhists, people who are Hindus, and so on and so forth. Because God created human beings. And these human beings have taken different paths to their lives. It is important that commercial organizations talk about, instead of profit maximization, they should talk about profit optimization. Because maximization tends to say, make profit at all cost, which obviously degrades humanity, which obviously ignores humanity. Businesses make risk analysis of their business and what sort of risk they can see in the future that may affect them. Why don't they make risk analysis for humanity? How is it going to affect humanity in the future? Because if we want to live in a world of peace, rhetoric is not going to make it. If we want to live in a world of peace, we have to rethink about what human values do we bring to this world? What human values are more important than profit? What human values are more important than getting billions of dollars in the bank account? We need to rethink about our strategies as businesses, as interdependent businesses in the global world, where they go to developing countries and actually use developing country resources and transfer 90% of the profit out of that country. developing country remains poor. And nothing happens in terms of the social change that is necessary. So it is important that, in fact, if you ask me, one positive thing out of this pandemic, which has made no distinction in color, which has made no distinction in religion, which has made no distinction in your position in the society, is one thing that hopefully the leaders of the world, the wisdom of the world, will start to think about re-strategizing their businesses, their social interaction, their societies, where there is independence in terms of sovereignty and in terms of freedom of religion, freedom of culture, etc., etc. But there is also a sense of humanity, the sense of non-exploitation of humanity. Because it is previously, all pandemics happened in a lot of poor countries, and it was very easy for us in the West to close the book and say, well, it is happening in Africa in the poorer community, it doesn't affect my son. Today, I have no choice. This pandemic has taught the world a lesson that it doesn't distinguish whether you are a developed country or underdeveloped country. It doesn't distinguish whether you are a Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, or a Christian, or any other religion. It doesn't distinguish between the color of your skin. It doesn't distinguish between the status you have in the society. Prince Charles has got it. Prime Minister of England has got it. President Trump has been reported to have it. So it doesn't distinguish that. It is saying to us that if we start to take care of the humanity, then humanity will progress and we can make our revenues, our profits, etc., etc. Finally, I will leave my audience and with these elegant speakers with one verse of a poem. The poem was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson in 1896, 2 years before he died. And one of the verses attracted me very much. The original verse was, "Men may come and men may go, but I go on forever." This poem was written about a brook, a small waterfall which goes through different challenges in life, etc., etc., and eventually merge with the river. So this was in my humble literary sense, he was talking about life. There are only two things which are permanent in life. One is birth and one is death. You can be born anywhere in the world. You can die in any different way. But there is nothing that can change the destiny of death. The only thing that can change is the period between birth and destiny, which is the journey of life. How you journey the life is what is going to change how the society moves forward. So I have adopted this little verse as human may come and human may go. Humanity goes on forever. Because you and I and everybody else will one day go from this world. But humanity will not go from this world. Humanity will remain in this world. And it is with that I conclude my presentation. I believe that commercial interest, and I have been a business academic. I have never been to a class to actually teach knowledge. I have been to a class to change human lives. And for the last 40 years, I have changed human lives of thousands and thousands of students. And I believe very strongly, because if I go just to impart the knowledge, I would be just paid for what I was doing. I went there to change the human lives. And it made a huge difference in the sort of satisfaction that I got. So what I'm saying is, to conclude, that giving attention to humanity is what is required in post-pandemic world. Giving attention to the importance of humanity as part of the business decision, as part of our social decision, as part of our political decisions is important. Because economic, social, and political feudalism that has permeated the world for the past so many years, pre-pandemic, cannot continue to serve the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamin. Your deep and wide range business-related morality or discipline, we very appreciate your speech.
Thank you.
Next, it's now time for the question and answer to our panelists. I'd like to invite Mr. John Admites, President of UPF Australia, to select questions that have come in from viewers and conduct the question and answer session. Thank you. Over to Mr. John.
Yes, hello and greetings to everyone. This is from one of the attendees that is listening in. And this is the Christian lobby in America could or start or can start a court case against the abuse of porn industry on children online, and Judge Amy Coney Barrett can approve it. They should seek to ban the porn websites, close them down, and put their owners in prison. Even if they operate from a remote island in the Pacific, what do you think? Any panelist can answer. So basically, the person's asking, to ban all porn websites and put them in prison. So it's an open question. So I invite our panelists to make a comment. Okay.
It's very difficult to ban pornography, and in most countries, adult pornography is actually legal, so there's no grounds to ban it. I agree. I would like to, but when it's child pornography, then in most countries around the world, and I don't know of any that don't agree with this, when it's child pornography, it is illegal, and so we should be able to act against that. And so that's why we're calling out this film in particular. But as I say and mentioned in my talk, our major newspaper says that we have an increase in child pornography. And so we just have to actually find a way to stop this. It's very interesting because if there's something that is impacting on a corporation's bottom line, financial, they come in very quick. And they're able to pull things down if they don't want them. Twitter's able to pull down comments that they don't like. They can censor them. Facebook can do the same. And yet all of a sudden, when it seems like it's child exploitation material, it's just too hard. And so we can't allow that to happen. We have to actually stand up and speak.
Thank you. Anyone else like to add to that?
Yes, I think I endorse what Mrs. Wendy has talked about, that, and my response to this question is, you see, evils emanate when there is a sense of non-belonging within societies. Evils emanate when there is a sense of restlessness in the society, and so on and so forth. And I think, I consider child pornography as not only abhorrent, it's really so demeaning and so sad for young children to go through that sort of that sort of process and so on and so forth. So there is no doubt that it should be banned, they should be punished, etc., etc., etc. But my argument is, when a society is interdependent, at the same time, it is in a state of a flux. I mean, in our company, we get a lot of young people who do their high school, etc., etc. They are totally confused where they want to go in terms of their professions, what profession they choose. We have got quite a few young people in our organization who come there, and we advise them as to how they can choose these different professions. Young people are totally confused. They are not only confused about what their future life is going to be, they are confused about how they should interact with the society. So evil emanates from the society when there is disintegration in terms of values, in terms of thought process, in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of freedom of thought, where people can openly discuss things and alleviate their tensions, internal tensions, to create internal peace. So I think this is one of the things that we need to think about. That's why I was talking about humanity, because once you start to look as a globe in terms of humanity and the impact on humanity, you start to change your mind. You start to change your pathways you start to change your own morality. But if there is disenchantment in the society, there is a flux where they cannot understand and they cannot express what they feel, how they feel it, and there is a whole social media which is impacting them, then these sort of things would keep on happening. And it's amazing, we talk about technology, but how can technology, we are so advanced in technology that we can create barriers to stop these things to happen.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shahid. Yeah, one more question that can also be open to everyone. It relates to the interdependence aspect to business. How responsible should businesses be for their actions? How can, not just how responsible, but how can we implement a process or a system that will enable business to take the moral high road, even though their shareholders are demanding for more profits? So I'll just open that up. Do you think that there is something that can be put into place to help business be more interdependent? In other words, think about others instead of their own corporate responsibility.
Can I answer that question? Because
Sure.
the question has been on my mind for quite some time. You see, what happens is that
Sorry?
Can you hear them? Okay. Corporations do not even look at their employees as humans. They look at them means to an end. These employees come there, they work, and they get paid. And that's the end of the relationship. I have developed a training program which says that empowering intangible assets for tangible benefits. My view is that instead of making a law and then people finding different ways of bypassing the law, the important thing is when profit is definitely one thing that has to be there if a corporation has to survive. Okay, so it is not an evil necessarily. Okay, it is part of your investment, part of your the work, etc., that you do in the corporation. The goods and services that you produce creates profit. So there is nothing evil about profit. The evil part of profit is when profit is made at all cost, where long-term strategies are sacrificed for short-term gain, where your outlook is as a leader, as a CEO, as a chairman, whatever it is, your only outlook is how much bonuses can I muster during my tenure. This is where it goes haywire. Second thing is that many of the, particularly public companies, many of the public companies, their share prices fluctuate on basis of speculators, because speculators play the game to get maximum revenue at all cost. They don't care about what the corporation does or not does. They are only interested in how to make money. And if there are long-term investors with corporation, then they will have long-term goals, and in that long-term goals, they will have humanity in place and so on. The first step is to help them make more profit by recognizing the human potential they have got. This is the intangible potential they don't recognize. People come and do their job and go away. People have no relationship with that organization except getting enough money to put food on the table. If you change that relationship as a family, make corporation as a family, where everybody has got dignity, everybody has got certain respect, and everybody is allowed to share their ideas. Believe you me, there will be so many innovations from the shop floor that will amaze corporations and that will give them more profit, but not at the expense of humanity. And it takes very little things to make that change. Imagine you are working in a shop floor and I come and say, "Hi, John, how is your family? How many children do you have?" It doesn't take too much investment to get John's children into my database. We have the technology to do that. And technology will automatically send a birthday greeting to your son or daughter or your wife. Your whole perspective will change when you come to work. How about just, shop floor people wear overalls or coats, whatever, right? And they work in greasy environment, they work in dirty environment, it gets dirty, they keep on wearing. They take it home to wash, wife refused to wash it in the washing machine because the washing machine will have a smell which will be permeated into other clean clothes and so on and so forth. So they keep on wearing that it smells, it has sweat, etc., etc., etc. Corporation can do one thing, that every Monday you get a washed overall or lab coat, whatever the case may be. Your whole life will change. And the cost to the corporation is absolutely peanuts. If the CEO of the company comes and talks to different people just for, not every day, just once a week, and ask them how they are doing. What problems do they have? And how can the company assist them in solving those problems? If CEO can tell these people that you are free to think, You bring new ideas and you get bonuses for it, if those ideas are applicable. Can you imagine how much innovation can happen there? I give you a case example. Caterpillar was working in one of the areas of United States, relatively small. Our small areas are very small compared to the population of a small area in United States, right? And they were almost at the verge of bankruptcy. And they had to get rid of 16,000 people in that community. Do you know what they did? They spent $2.5 million in retraining them, in helping them to get jobs so that it doesn't affect the economy of that particular region. What that did was that those people were loyal to Caterpillar even wherever they were working to. Second thing is, those people who were in Caterpillar working, they became very loyal to the company, and they were prepared to take pay cuts. They were prepared to do anything to make that company out of the red. And within 2 years, it started to make profit. The thing is, these intangible human potential gold mine is not used to its maximum advantage for the person as well as for the corporation. You change that, their attitude changed to the outside world. The whole company's attitude changed to the outside world because they recognize that people can bring in a lot of ideas. People can bring in a lot of human potential and capacity. So this is what is important. I can give you case after case. There are some companies which has done marvelous thing. A Japanese company, the general manager came on the shop floor, which is quite common in Japan, and the worker was about to pack his bag and go. It was 5 o'clock. So he approached that worker and he said, "Can you clean this machine? Because this machine actually provides your food." So he said, "My time is up, so I'm going." So he said, okay. He took off his jacket, put it aside, pull up his sleeve, and actually in front of that person actually cleaned the machine. Do you know what happened? From that day onwards, all machines were spotless. People would work 15 minutes extra to keep their machine clean. And not only that, it created a mindset that this machine actually provides food for my family. Because if this machine was not there, I was not going to be employed. So value system is grown from inside, not from outside, not by legal means. This is where the society is going wrong. We create laws to fight something, then there is another loophole that is created, and we create another law for it. Let us do it from inside. Let us create that value system from inside, and the world will change. So when we talk about commercial organizations, the shareholder perspective will change when they come to the company and say it's like a family. Every worker comes on Monday and look forward to go to work, not because he has to put food on the table, but because he enjoys work. And that is the answer to that question, that this is how you can do it. It's a long answer, but it is the answer to the